Hi, my name is Julie Sarshar, and I'm a team leader with Usborne. And I wanted to show you some of my favorite books that empower kids, that give kids positive messages to learn and grow. So the first book is called Wilfred Gordon MacDonald Partridge. This is a book about a boy who has 4 names, and he lives next to a nursing home. And he befriends a woman there who also has 4 names. And he learns that this woman is losing her memory. So he goes through and he asks different people, what is a memory? And he gets all sorts of different answers. So he wants to help her find her memories. So he finds different objects that go along with what each person told him a memory is. And he gives all of these objects to his friend at the end. It's a beautiful book about love and kindness, and it's a little bit of a lesson on what is a memory. The next book is called The Children Who Loved Books, and this is a favorite in our household. This is a story about a family who they don't have much. They don't have a car, they don't have a house, but they do have a lot of books. In fact, they have so many books that the books start spilling out of the door and out of the windows. And so they decide they need to get rid of the books. But what happens is that things aren't quite right. You can see the table won't stand up straight. The boy can't see out the window. And then one day the girl comes home with a book in her book bag. And so they start reading it together, and they realize that this book brings them closer. Without the books, they were far away, but with the book, they're closer, and they all fall asleep together on the couch. And what do you think they do the next day? Well, they go to the library to get more books. So it's a book about how books can bring families closer. The next book is called Here in the Garden, and this is an excellent book for any kids who have experienced loss. The loss of a pet, the loss of a loved one. This is a wonderful book for them. This is about a boy who has lost his pet rabbit, and he had shared lots of memories of himself with his rabbit in the garden. And he goes through and he says, you would love what we're doing with the garden this year. I miss you so much. And at the end, he realizes that his rabbit's not gone. Anytime he misses his rabbit, he can go out into the garden and find a memory. So this is a wonderful book for any child who has experienced any type of loss. The next book, which is a household favorite in my home, is Waiting for Winter. And this is a laugh-out-loud funny story about a squirrel who wants to stay awake and see winter. He ends up trying to stay awake, and he wakes up Hedgehog and he wakes up Bear, and the 3 of them try to figure out what is snow. And I love the illustrations in this book. They're pencil-like illustrations with just a little bit of color. And the book is just so funny. What is snow? Well, they all find different things that they think is snow. And as they're actually waiting, of course, it actually snows. They see winter. Well, you have to read to the very end of the story because the very last page is the funniest. My kids love it. They giggle every time we read it. It's a really cute and charming story. Waiting for Winter. The next one is called Sam, Sarah, Dog. And this is a lovely story about a dog who has lived many, many lives. And this story goes through each life that the dog has had. He's had many. He's lived alone. He's lived in a biker gang. He's lived in a family with 4 little girls. And he comes back every time because he hasn't discovered the true meaning of life yet. And then he finds the boy. And the boy and him become best friends. And the dog realizes he loves this boy more than anyone, more than himself. And after this life, he finally reaches heaven. I admit, I totally cried during this story. It's a beautiful story about love and friendship and the love of a pet. Sam, Sarah, Dog. The last book I want to talk about is one of our newest books called Cordelia. And any of you familiar with the Jonathan James and the What If Monster, this is the same author, same illustrator. You can get a little red-headed doll with this too if you'd like. This is about a little girl who can fly. Cordelia. And she flies every day and every morning, and she sees these amazing sights. And then one day, She tells her friends about it. She tells her friends that she can fly, but they don't believe her. No matter how much she tells them, they don't believe her. And she stops believing. So she stops flying, and she's sad, and she's not quite herself. Until one day she realizes that maybe it doesn't matter what her friends think, what other people think. What really matters is what she believes. And so she flies again. And I love this story. I love this story about believing in yourself and not necessarily believing what other people tell you. It's so important for kids to be able to believe in themselves. So those are my stories for you guys. I hope you like some of them, and I hope you choose one to empower your child.